It is Sunday, March 24th, 2024 at 7:51 in the morning. And this is, again, light activity that's created as I just walk around, move in my living room. This is the purpose for the placement of engineered light inside of the private space. This is also documenting what is the admission of the entity that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, the placement of engineered light. It is the sex offense as you are witnessing it. This is a molestation by engineered light. This is the placement of engineered light inside of the private space, which is denoting the criminal monitoring, that's federal group stalking and monitoring occurring in the private space. That's pursuant to what's an ongoing sex offense committed by the public entity, and it is also molestation via that engineered light. The entity is engaged in at the same time, 7:51 a.m. Again, you're going to look at the big picture. Not only is this impossible light because the blinds are closed. All right, sunlight does not behave in this manner. This is magnification of light. This is light that is also, look at the images that I'm capturing minute by minute. You are looking at it's rapidly cycling around in the apartment. And then you're also gonna remember how the light source itself doesn't go anywhere for the duration of the day, but the light activity created, this is supposed to be pursuant to an illusion that you see the sun and then you see what's supposed to be sunlight. Okay, you're paying attention to what's not sunlight and what also has nothing to do with the placement of the light source. Number one, you've seen the light source, you've seen the engineered light in the absence of the light source, okay? You also understand what's not sunlight based on the character of this light. It's magnified. As I'm literally just moving my arm right now, you're looking at light activity that's occurring on my carpet through what are closed blinds. And you're looking at also remembering the big picture. The entity is not only placing it inside of my private space because I am subject to surveillance, and this is serving for what is systematic monitoring on a massive scale by a government in concert with the people of the state who are in this environment surrounding me. And this is light that covers the whole property. And so not only are you understanding, just like you saw yesterday, all the ways in which the illusion that the entity engages in is impossible. Okay, the purpose, the reason for this impossible environment, okay, it's not just what, it's why. Understand and do not miss. The reason why you have this ongoing admission of an entity, because that's legally what this is an admission by a public entity and the people of the state, direct evidence against the people of the state who are criminally engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. This is the purpose for such an engineered environment for criminal monitoring that's in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A, and in violation of additional federal laws and those to be created. But you're talking about what is criminal monitoring and the environment that criminal monitoring is occurring in. It's necessarily present for purposes of that system. Not only at 7:51 am I using this as a timestamp, you're going to remember, and I will juxtapose this with what the entity was doing at the same time. I'll give you another example, one of which I've already given you. Starbucks at 706 West Holt. In Ontario, California at 7:51 a.m., the light source is remaining directly over me at that intersection of San Antonio and Holt Boulevard, where you have the revealing of the significance of the people of the state that are in a specific environment in planes and helicopters, and you're understanding what federal group stalking and monitoring looks like. So this is a specific environment where you have the people of the state utilizing commercial airline planes, which is group stalking, using the channels of interstate commerce. The entity is group stalking in planes and helicopters. They're doing so on the roads and the highways, which is also what you will witness is ongoing at 7:51 a.m. I'm using the same timetable because I have traveled on the same exact time on third-party facilitating venue Omnitrans. This is public transportation in Ontario, California, leaving from the intersection of Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue, where the entity is maintaining a light source before 7:15 in the morning, where you will see the Ontario Police Department group stalking on Holt Boulevard, and the light source is rising, okay? You see it in alignment to me while the Ontario Police Department are outwardly demonstrating demon possession, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. They are in relevant position group stalking with the people of the state in the specific environment at 7:15 in the morning and to 7:55 a.m. There is no light source that's gonna be visible through the living room window of Alvarado Gardens, apartment number 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6 on the 3rd floor. How else do you also know that this is not the sun? At 7:51 a.m., not only am I at the intersection of Foothill Boulevard, and this is the specific documentation I want to reference as well, 7:51 at Foothill and Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. In Upland, California, I am standing at the after getting off of Route 66. And how is this, again, understanding the big picture? Yesterday at 4:18 p.m., yesterday was March 23rd, 2024, where I captured video inside of the laundry room at this same property of Alvarado Gardens. That's letting you know that this isn't the sun also. The sun is not going to be present at the same property, visible through a window at the same property 8 to 9 hours from now. Also letting you know it's not the sun. And you also knew yesterday when I captured at 4:18 p.m. that that's not the sun. That was engineered light inside of that laundry room that's present 8 hours from now. Well, let's count 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's over 8 hours from now, 4:18 p.m. when I'm in the laundry room, which is feet away from my apartment downstairs. And you saw this light source, which is under no circumstances the natural sun, not the natural environment. That's the environment where the entity is flying in planes and helicopters, group stalking, utilizing the channels of interstate commerce. I'm speaking Title 18, Section 2261A language right now. All right, the entity is engaging in placing engineered light inside of that laundry room, which as a matter of a timestamp is occurring 8 hours from now when you are using the environment, the admission that the entity is providing for purposes of prosecuting the people of the state. The public entity itself is already prosecuted. That's why you have them stalking in planes and helicopters and fire, ambulance, and police vehicles. That's why they engage in kidnapping, criminal defamation. This is documentation and prosecution of the people. You're going to use that evidence. It's for the reason why it's here is because you're subject to massive monitoring by the people who are engaged in relevant positioning. That is ongoing group stalking, and that's exactly why it's here in Los Angeles. The people of the state are engaged in what is the system of federal group stalking monitoring. There is no sun that's going to be present over Alvarado Gardens. There's no sunlight that's going to be aimed inside of my apartment at Alvarado Gardens from 7:51 a.m. at the same exact time while you're looking at it over me on Foothill and Euclid Avenue in Upland, California, after getting off of Route 66, the same bus that I was on April 29, 2022, after leaving the Fontana Lewis Library after Stephanie Ortiz engaged in criminal summoning, and I'm showing you the light source over my head at 1:17 p.m. And the entity's light source is remaining here over me. That's why I was giving you to juxtapose that day on April 29th when she engaged in criminal summoning, for which she's going to federal prison. I was subject to this criminal system. That is an act of what is criminal obstruction of justice via criminal summoning, while you are summoning the entity that is stalking and monitoring you, engaged in the pattern of conduct. A psychopath engaging in that is going to federal prison. This is the malice with which the people of the state in the specific environment with the intent to obstruct justice engage in the pattern of conduct, facilitating it, seeking to keep concealed as you document the pattern of conduct. And as I arrive after getting off of Route 66 of Omnitrans, the light source is directly over me as I arrive in Upland, California at 450 North Euclid Avenue at 4:18 p.m., which is what I use to juxtapose the placement of this light source 9 hours from now, over 8 hours from now at 4:18, which you see this light source through the window of the laundry room. And I'm reminding you about this is the same Route 66 that I'm on after getting off and going up to Upland, California. This is the same intersection, Foothill and Euclid Avenue at 7:51 in the morning. That's showing you what is not the natural environment in Upland, California. This is the pattern of conduct. And this is, you already know that when you're looking at it, the documentation that already exists. I am giving you an ongoing picture of what an entity is doing. And it is the admission by the people of the state engaging in state surveillance. And that's why you have the maintenance of a scientifically impossible and entirely unnatural environment. And not only are they present in that unnatural environment for a criminal purpose, they are practicing a satanic, ritualistic targeting system in concert with the state that is stalking in helicopters, airplanes, and police, fire, and ambulance vehicles. All right, this is Exhibit A. This is the admission of the people, and this is what you saw in the video with 4:18 p.m. The Los Angeles Police Department flew next to the sun while they were group stalking as I stood in the parking lot at 1800 North Alvarado Street, and they're engaged in an admission again. They're stalking in the path. This is amplification, relevant positioning, and it's direct evidence against the people of the state, and they're flying next to the light source that is not over Foothill and Euclid Avenue in Upland, California at the same time. This is the entity that is showing that it is, while you expose the fact that it is engaged in group stalking. All right, and that's criminal facilitation that's occurring in concert with the people. These are a demon-possessed population, and this is what they engage in. They engage in the ongoing criminal pattern of conduct. They engage in the ongoing obsessive endeavor to threaten your life, your physical safety, threaten you by stalking you in helicopters as though they're going to drop bombs, as though they're going to come and kidnap you at any moment as you document the fact that you're subject to the pattern of conduct. You're going to look at the video from 4:18 p.m. The entity engaged in the same exact admission while the demon-possessed are stalking in in relevant position in a helicopter, and they fly next to the sun at 4:18 p.m. in the video captured on March 23rd, 2024. It is the morning of the next morning on March 24th at 7:51 a.m. It's currently 8:01 a.m. You're witnessing the impossible as you juxtapose those two items of documentation, both including the Los Angeles Police Department. These are demons that show animosity on behalf of the whole entity, and they are monitoring in the face of the target individual who is documenting the fact that they're subject to this unlawful system by the state of California. All of that is combined in what I just captured right now. In addition to what is juxtaposing it with what is not over, invisible, nor in any placement of in its zenith, it's not possibly the sun, and it's also not possibly going to be sunlight inside of my apartment. So that is the entity that is in your face stalking you in helicopter. That's the same entity that's stalking me by helicopter flying over my apartment at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. The entity is engaging in an identical behavioral pattern heavily documented by the demons of the Ontario Police Department, where the entity maintains such a light source over me, following me to Upland, California, and I'm referencing this timestamp because the entity is maintaining this light source in Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles for the duration of the day. That was a pattern of conduct as I documented it, while the entity maintained a light source over me, including on Omnitrans, a third-party facilitating venue that is a means of public transportation where the entity is systematically monitoring in concert with the people of the state, while the entity maintained a light source in this manner through the windows of the bus, while I went from street for street, turn for turn, that's a venue that is in motion. A venue that is engaging in systematic state surveillance while the light source remained over me. This is exposing and prosecuting on a massive scale at once while I'm showing you what's occurring here in Los Angeles, and I'm reminding you about what was already captured. And you are also witnessing the inability. It is literally the ongoing incrimination of the people of the state while you see demons in helicopters affiliated with law enforcement agencies stalking in helicopter under what is the light source and in engineered light, which is the pattern of conduct. And it's also beyond any coincidence while you're looking at them engage in such damning conduct on video while I just happen to be talking about the pattern of conduct. That is in conformity to a well-documented pattern of conduct as well. This is what is going to be juxtaposed with what the Ontario Police Department was doing, with what the people of the state and the Inland Empire were doing in the specific environment, because there is no sunlight that's going to occur here. If that was the sun, as I documented there, and by there I mean, for example, at Foothill and Euclid Avenue, after getting off the same route, Route 66, and that light source is over me in the morning, just like you saw it over me in the afternoon yesterday. And by yesterday, I'm referencing April 29th, 2022 at 4:18 p.m. when I'm in Upland, California after leaving Fontana Lewis. Yesterday, I referenced that documentation on March 23rd, 2024, juxtaposing the placement of the light source here at the laundry room where this light source is again remaining 8 hours from now. And it's still visible, aiming light into my bedroom 8 hours from now. This isn't even sunlight, but you're also looking at the stationary presence of the light source, which also lets you know that that's not sunlight and that that's not the sun. And you have a demon-possessed, corrupt law enforcement agency that is admitting to the world, first, that they are demon-possessed, because that's demonic behavior in a demonic environment, serving a criminal system. The entity continuously and repeatedly does this, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, group stalking on camera, showing their outwardly demonstrating demon possession, incriminating the people of the state, while I'm capturing ongoing evidence of it, which is also beyond any coincidence. It is the pattern of conduct, and that's why you are disbanding the demons that are affiliated currently with the Los Angeles Police Department. Understand that these are demons that are in every way exhibiting their inability to control themselves, to cease from engaging in what is a satanic, ritualistic targeting system that is criminally facilitating the engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring by the people. Indeed, the people of the state are monitoring while LAPD flew over by helicopter, just like they were monitoring yesterday. That's why the environment is here. If LAPD was doing it by themselves, then they wouldn't need to maintain an unnatural environment around me 24/7. The entity is maintaining presence in this environment that's deliberately maintained as I'm here in Los Angeles, and as I was in Upland, California, as I was in Ontario, California, and every other city that I went, where you're looking at what's an unnatural environment. The reason why it was there is because the entity is maintaining presence vicariously by the people of the state, who, by the way, are of the same condition. This is demon possession, and this demon-possessed population is secretly engaging in what is a satanic targeting system, and it is the criminal monitoring of American citizens who are unaware of the fact that they're being targeted by the government, and the government is doing it via the people, okay? And the entity is engaged in an ongoing admission. This is an admission. All right, this is admission by an entity that's going to be prosecuted as a violent sex offender, because that's what the nature, the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring is. It's an exceedingly violent sex offense committed by, innumerable actors serving that which is an ongoing violation, okay, of the person, while they are obsessed with keeping you under surveillance and doing so in their creepy environments, which is terrorizing to the ordinary targeted individual, something that is inexplicable to the ordinary targeted individual, something that is designed to remain concealed, and something that the entity has every intention to continue as the people of the state via the environment, the people of the state via acts such as Stephanie Ortiz engaging in criminal summoning, via the people of the state who are engaging in ongoing monitoring, while the Los Angeles Police Department, which is the state acting directly, shows an ongoing determination to persist in that criminal endeavor. All right, this is the pattern of conduct underway. Group stalking by planes and helicopters, just like you see right here in the sky space. That's what's going on at the Ontario airport. That's what's going on at the Los Angeles airport. This is what's going on at as the entity is maintaining these airports and these heliports in the state of California. These are headquarters where the federal government is going to literally remove the ability for the people of the state, for the people of the state to engage in the use of their pilots' licenses. I want to be clear, those are specific venues where the entity is literally taking planes and from these airports and taking them from even these smaller, because there's in Upland, California, for example, there are smaller airports where the entity is group stalking using airplanes. It's maintenance of presence in the path in the sky space. And this is literally sounding the whistle on what the entity is using for a core means of federal group stalking and monitoring, and that is the planes and the helicopters coming from major airlines such as the Burbank Airport here in Los Angeles County, the LAX. But while I was in Ontario, the Inland Empire, the Ontario airport is a facilitating venue where the entity was placing a light source over that airport, maintaining engineered light, the people of the state in relevant position. I mean, getting out of their vehicles, engaging in the demonic behavior pattern while they're grabbing their luggage and going to get on planes. The system is seamlessly underway. That's why the light source is there. That's why the engineered light was there. The demon possessed are seamlessly engaging in the system while they are indeed getting on planes and taking flights but I want to be clear, the state system is underway, and demons are flying planes and helicopters engaging in state stalking. Demons affiliated with such as Amazon Prime, heavily documented in a specific environment and often engaged in real-time reaction to what I document about such commercial actors. And that's direct evidence against the people of the state, the malicious guise under which the system of federal group stalking and monitoring is facilitated. Indeed, the public entity cannot and does not engage in this system without the people of the state. And this is referred to as the secret society. It is a satanic ritualistic targeting system, and the entity is doing so through commercial means. They are companies that are engaging in satanic behaviors. They are in support of satanic conduct, satanic targeting methods, and they go by nothing other than company names that you welcome into your home, such as Amazon, such as Uber, okay? Just like you saw yesterday. And this is being demonstrated by those that are working for their companies. And it's not a coincidence that those so-called employees, they're not just present innocently, which doesn't exist, by the way. The demonic environment is present for those who are deliberately engaging in the pattern of conduct. It's the demon possessed that are engaging in a secret method of targeting you and you're not aware of it. But in addition to that, the entity is engaging in what is the outward demonstration of demon possession, while Uber employees, while Amazon employees are engaging in group stalking via directed light. That's a demon wearing some sort of commercial or driving some sort of commercial vehicle, and they're molesting you with engineered light while they're doing something as common as just driving by. Okay, and this is what you're going to pay attention to. The demonic behavior is not limited to the identity of that third-party group stalker, which is nothing other than a malicious guise of the same exact satanic ritualistic system. And all of this is occurring in a specific environment. That body of evidence that's captured in the Inland Empire is to be used against the state of California, because none of it is coexisting with the ongoing documentation showing what the Los Angeles Police Department is engaging in. The Los Angeles Police Department is a demon-possessed agency acting in conformity to a well-documented pattern of conduct that pre-existed my arrival to Los Angeles, and this is the state acting directly, and that's an admission against the people of the state. That's beyond a coincidence. And you also have the people of the state in this environment, which you were going to juxtapose with what was already captured in the Inland Empire. Okay, this is speaking to a very specific pattern of conduct, which is revealing the condition of the people of the state in this state. It's not just limited to LA County. It's not just limited to San Bernardino County, because you're looking at what's supposed to be ignorant to you with what you're observing, but this is speaking to what's never occurring. The sun is never reaching the state of Florida within based on what I am documenting, the maintenance of a light source for the duration of the day. And this is informing what's going on in the rest of the country. And what's going on in the rest of the country is satanic at its core, but it's criminal. So this is informing the public about what your rights are and how a government is systematically violating your rights and doing so in the most malicious manner possible, and having every intention to continue to do so in the face of being exposed. And this is the nature of what I have been capturing for a term of years. And it's going toward what are civil and criminal prosecutions and damages, immeasurable in nature, okay? You cannot put a dollar sign on the level of the threat to the life of the target individual who is, again, I'm not only establishing precedent, all right, I'm capturing the pattern of conduct, but I'm establishing precedent. So this is having to endure for a prolonged period in order to show that it is beyond a coincidence. It's not an anomaly. You cannot have the pattern of conduct captured as a matter of a coincidence over and over again, year after year. It is indeed a state system. It does not matter what the zip code or the area code is. It does not matter what the commercial actor's name is. It does not matter what the third-party group stalker's specific name or what their name is or their position or what their address is. You're looking at what is a state system. All right, and the entity is engaging in this. It's speaking to what the rest of the country is engaged in as well. All right, the American citizens in this country are able to enforce their rights when they are made aware of the environment that they are necessarily and maliciously surrounded by, which you have not been paying attention to. And they are doing it through the people of the state, and the state acts directly through these corrupt law enforcement agencies. And it is a satanic, ritualistic targeting system. All right, this is a lengthy video, but it's necessary for a discussion as I'm connecting all the dots. Remember, you're always being mindful to take a step back, remain cognizant of the bigger picture at all times. This is to be juxtaposed with what I captured yesterday at 4:18 p.m. At 5:56 p.m., the entity is acting as though the sun is setting over building 1818 through my apartment and aiming this engineered light onto my bedroom through closed blinds. Okay, not the sun. Magnification of light, which you're looking at the shadow of trees through that magnification of light. But you're also reminding at 5:56, it's remaining at the same city, by the way, Upland, California. I'm on the bus. The light source is over me. It really does get ridiculous. The level of evidence that you have against an entity. The entity is at all times admitting what it's doing. It's just a matter of you recognizing and understanding, looking at, and then documenting what the entity is doing, because it's right in your face. And so the entity is engaged in an ongoing admission. And the placement of the light source over me in the morning on Route 66, and I'm at that same venue in the afternoon, Route 66, and on 7:51 in the morning, I'm going to remind you about my placement in Upland, California, going past Upland, going past Upland, California, up to Foothill and Euclid. And that light source is at that same intersection that it was at 4:18 p.m. This is at the same location I'm at, Alvarado Gardens. It was at 4:18 p.m. yesterday, 5:56 p.m. yesterday. The other side, the opposite side of this apartment, through my bedroom window. No, that's not the sun. All right, this is just, again, the same exact analysis, beyond any coincidence, scientifically impossible to capture even one time. All right, that's the P.O.C. It is currently 8:14 a.m. and this is the maintenance of the light source. This is the maintenance of engineered light. This is rich documentation and admission to be used against the people of the state, including the generous provision of the demon-possessed law enforcement agency that is corrupt and is engaging in what is, again, outwardly demonstrating the condition of all. The people of the state are of the same condition as the entity that's group stalking in planes and helicopters in a demonic environment, and also providing evidence against the people of the state, while you have what is also beyond a coincidence, the ongoing stalking by the state directly. Also, why I just happen to be capturing documentation to use against the people of the state. The state is incapable of protecting the people. The state engages in what is further incriminating the people. This is why the people are subject to federal prison. This is why they're subject to what is placement in mental facilities throughout this country. This is why they are literally losing custody of their children while they live at and work at, facilitating venues, the highly malicious guise under which the state is being able to group stalk the targeted individual where they live and where they work. The entity is engaging in what is the provision against the malicious guise under which the people of the state are providing a commercial means of stalking and monitoring and targeting and terrorizing and tormenting. And I'm speaking about the corrupt misuse of businesses for the criminal purpose, criminal facilitation of federal group stalking and monitoring. It is, again, 8:15 a.m. and this is P.O.C. I want you to look at the light that's in the all over the property. This is engineered light through closed blinds. That's not sunlight. And also it's not going to be present while the sun's over me in Upland, California. And so you're understanding the nature of what you're looking at. This is very demonic. There's no sunlight that's going to hit building 1818. You see how far it reaches on the land? This is far reaching. This is not the natural environment. None of this is light that's going to occur. And is remaining over me in At the same time, at 7:51 a.m., literally at this moment, there is no sunlight. There's no concentrated sunlight that's going to touch any of this property. Far reaching. None of this is light. None of this is natural light. You are understanding the reality of the environment that we are in, and it's demonic. It's very malicious. You're not supposed to be aware of it, but it's serving a criminal system. The reason why it's here, you have a demon-possessed population that's engaging in a criminal system that is seamlessly and systematically, unhindered, okay? Serving to provide the basis for like group stalking and monitoring. That's demonic behaviors by a population that's targeting American citizens that are not of that condition. All right. And it's supposed to be occurring right in your face, unbeknownst to you. And you are looking at what's right in your face. This light activity is right in your face, and it's impossible to exist while the light source is remaining over me in Upland, California. And that's the prosecution of the people. The reason why it's in this environment, the reason why is because they're engaged in massive monitoring anywhere that you go. Anyway, they're like, so, and you already know, if I leave for Alvarado Gardens, the light source remains over my head as I leave. Okay. That's why at no point in time is the sun ever at any location over here. The sun is never captured anywhere at the distance down yonder. The entity moves the light source. The entity moves the light source if I go in that direction. Otherwise, you're just looking at what is engineered light. Remember, the engineered light has nothing to do with the actual placement of the light source, which you've seen on a small scale when I'm showing you the light activity in my apartment and the placement of the light source. It's the same thing on a massive scale in the environment. It has nothing to do with the placement of the light source. The light source is over Foothill and Euclid Avenue at the same time. There's no sunlight that's going to be covering the grounds out here. And that's not the sun that's going to be present 8 hours from now at the same address. All right. This is P.O.C. This is a prosecution of the people of the state.